Quick reviewer here, and today I'm going to show you Mastery of Ina's Set Dungeon. This one was a little bit more tricky, I felt, than the Sunwukos because it took a lot of gear tweaking from what I would have thought. The main things you need to go for when you're doing this set dungeon is cooldown reduction, and you also have to lower your damage. Because in order to get enough monsters around you to activate your allies for the 10 allies activate, or 10 monsters surrounded you with the allies activated, you can't kill everything really fast. So I found between 500 to 700k DPS was actually ideal, which is a little counterintuitive. The only real pieces you need to complete this dungeon are the Ina set pieces, either 6-piece or 5 with the royal ring, and lots of cooldown reduction. So I have a diamond in my hat, I rolled the cooldown on my shoulders, there's cooldown on my amulet, cooldown on my gloves, and I really even felt I could have put more cooldown reduction and have had an easier time with it than I did. I also removed the amulet I normally use, I removed Ina's reach, because I just found I was doing way too much damage. So you kind of have to balance how much damage you do so you can clear it in time, but yet not kill everything too quickly so that you can activate the allies while you still have 10 monsters around you. So as far as skills go for this build, the main ones you need is you need the Mystic Ally, because that's how you're going to activate your allies. I would also recommend Dashing Strike so that you could get into the middle of the pack. Cyclone Strike, so you can pull a whole bunch to you, activate those allies, and get that part of the achievement done. You will also really want Epiphany on there because one of the other main goals of the dungeon is to not allow yourself to be frozen. And this really helps with this, so you don't have to always be retreating. You can just throw on Epiphany to circumvent being frozen. I also added the Beacon of Yitar for more cooldown reduction, and I also added Fleet-Footed to help me move through the dungeon faster. So the dungeon is actually located in Chaldeum, and you have to go over to the Flooded Causeway, which is down there. You guys might remember this from the story. You don't see it much in adventure mode. And the dungeon is located right here. And it will open up when you have the full set. So the first important thing to know while you're going through the dungeon is that you need to activate your allies on the flatter surfaces. If you do it on the stairs, the mobs that are still kind of around you but they're up or below you, they won't count. So it's very important to make sure you're on one of the plateaus before you activate the allies. And this is part of where the cooldown reduction comes into play, because there will be times where you may think you have 10 mobs around you and you don't. And so to be able to have lots of options to activate it is a very good thing. So make sure you have as much cooldown reduction as you can have for this build. And as in the other dungeons, the map layout will always be the same. So that will help you kind of plan where you want to use your activation. However, the mobs will spawn randomly, so unfortunately you can't just plan out, to always do it on one certain plateau, because another time you run it, there may not be mobs on that plateau. As far as being careful about the freeze goes, the only ones that freeze are the really big fat dudes, so those are the ones you need to make sure you have your Epiphany ready for, so that you don't have to stop attacking if the freeze should occur. And also, as in the other dungeons, you need to make sure you're very thorough as you clear this one out. This one, the way I went around it, didn't seem to matter as much efficiency-wise. You kind of have to get an idea of where the layout is so you don't double back too much. But what really sucks is when you get to the very end and you find out you just have one monster left, and that happened to me once. And it's very frustrating because I had every other objective completed, But I got to the end, I had 20 seconds left, one monster, no idea where he was. So I ended up having to restart the dungeon. So do make sure you go through and you're really thorough as you go through, because you will not have time to backtrack at all. And once you have all of your activations completed to meet the criteria for the one objective, then you can just focus on going as fast as you can, killing all the monsters as efficiently as possible. My best runs were the ones where I was able to get that done right away at the beginning, although that's not always possible, but you can kind of gauge by your monster count if you still have enough mobs left to keep trying with the getting the 10 for your activation. And as you get down to the end, it will highlight around and show you where all the mobs are on the map, which is really nice because it kind of gives you an idea with your timing how close you are. And just a little bit more. And there it is, the Mastery of Ina's Dungeon. Thanks for watching this video, and subscribe to my channel for more, and we will see you next time.